I honestly cannot believe what I am reading right now, and my heart is absolutely racing as I record this for you guys. As a die-hard Colts fan, we have been waiting for some clarity on where this roster is heading, but I do not think any of us expected a shakeup of this magnitude on a random Tuesday afternoon. We are talking about the identity of our offense being completely redefined in a single move. This is one of those moments that will either be remembered as a genius masterstroke or a massive mistake that sets the franchise back years. You need to stick around because the details behind this financial gamble are absolutely wild, and the consequences are immediate. Alec Pierce is officially the future of the Indianapolis Colts wide receiver room, and the front office just put a massive amount of money where their mouth is. The news just broke that the Colts have signed Pierce to a massive 4-year extension worth a staggering $114 million. This comes right off the back of his incredible breakout campaign in 2025, where he proved he could be a dominant force on the perimeter. Seeing the team commit this kind of capital to a young playmaker is usually a reason to celebrate in the streets of Indy, but this deal comes with a heavy price tag that is sending shockwaves through the locker room. I have mixed emotions because Alec has shown so much growth and potential to be a true number one target for our offense, but the numbers here are eye-popping. We are talking about elite-tier money for a guy who just had his first major breakout year. The front office is clearly betting that his trajectory will continue to skyrocket as he enters his prime. But the real reason this news is bittersweet, and frankly a bit terrifying for some of us, is because of what had to happen in the background to make the math work for the salary cap. To ensure they had enough space to keep both Pierce and our quarterback Daniel Jones under long-term security, the organization had to make a sacrifice that nobody saw coming this early. They chose to move on from a cornerstone of the offense to pave the way for this new era. It is a massive gamble on Alec's ceiling versus the proven production we already had in the building. This move signals that the team is fully prepared to transition into a more explosive, vertical passing attack, but it leaves a massive void in the leadership and reliability department that we have leaned on for several seasons now. I am sitting here trying to process if Alec is truly ready to carry the entire weight of the receiving core on his shoulders with this kind of pressure. The money is locked in, the ink is dry, and Alec Pierce is now one of the highest-paid players at his position in the entire league. But while we are processing this massive extension, we have to talk about the man who was sent packing to make it all possible. This is where the story takes a turn that is going to divide this fan base for months to come. Before we dive into the details of the trade that just happened, I need you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are covering every single angle of this Colts rebuild, and you do not want to miss our deep dive into the new offensive scheme. Drop a like if you think this was the right move. Michael Pittman Jr. is no longer an Indianapolis Colt, and that sentence feels absolutely surreal to say out loud right now. In a move that has left many of us completely stunned, the front office has traded Pittman to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was the move required to clear the necessary cap space to finalize the Alec Pierce extension and keep the financial books balanced with Daniel Jones's contract on the horizon. For years, Pittman has been the most consistent and reliable weapon on this roster, the guy who made the tough catches over the middle and served as the security blanket for every quarterback we have cycled through. Seeing him sent to Pittsburgh for what is essentially salary cap relief feels like a punch to the gut for those of us who valued his toughness and veteran presence. But here is the thing that really gets interesting about this decision. By choosing Pierce over Pittman, the Colts are making a definitive statement about the type of offense they want to run. They are prioritizing raw speed and big playability over the possession-style dominance that Pittman provided. It is a clear pivot toward a high-octane philosophy. However, the risk here is astronomical. Pittman was the heartbeat of that receiver room and a favorite in the huddle. Trading away a proven producer to bank on the continued development of a younger player is the definition of a high-stakes poker move. I keep thinking about how this affects the chemistry on the field. Does Daniel Jones have the same level of trust in Pierce during third and long situations? Pittman was the guy you could always count on to move the chains when things got ugly. Now, that responsibility falls entirely on Alec Pierce. The debate is already raging across social media about which receiver actually holds more value for our future. Some fans argue that Pittman had already reached his ceiling, while Pierce is just starting to scratch the surface of his elite potential. Others are terrified that we just gave away our most reliable asset for a player who has only had one elite season. It is a classic clash of ideologies between valuing a high floor versus a high ceiling. The front office has made their choice, and they chose the youth and the speed of Pierce, But losing a guy like Pittman is going to leave a scar on this roster that won't heal quickly, especially if the offense struggles early in the season without that veteran leadership. The context of this entire situation really boils down to the reality of the modern NFL salary cap and the massive price of keeping a franchise quarterback. With Daniel Jones on the roster and requiring a significant portion of the budget, the Colts simply couldn't afford to pay two top-tier wide receiver contracts simultaneously. They were forced into a corner where they had to choose between the reliable veteran and the rising star. By picking Alec Pierce and signing him to that $114 million deal, the organization is betting the next 4 years on his ability to become a top 5 receiver in this league. The impact of this is going to be felt immediately in how we approach the upcoming draft and free agency. We now have a massive hole in the depth chart where Pittman used to be, and the pressure on the remaining young receivers to step up is going to be immense. Looking toward the future, this move defines the Daniel Jones era in Indianapolis. If Jones and Pierce develop that elite-level connection and start lighting up the scoreboard with deep shots, then the front office will look like geniuses for seeing the transition before it happened. But if the offense becomes inconsistent, or if Pierce struggles with the double teams he is surely going to face now that he is the undisputed number one, the fans are going to be calling for heads. I personally feel a mix of excitement for Alec's future and a deep sadness for losing a guy like Pittman, who gave everything to this city. It is a cold, calculated business move that changes the entire trajectory of the Colts. We are no longer the team that grinds out wins with possession receivers. We are trying to become the team that strikes fear into secondaries with elite speed. The ripple effects will go beyond just the stats. This changes the leadership dynamic in the locker room and puts Alec Pierce in a position where he has to grow up fast. He is no longer the young guy with potential. He is the $100 million man who has to deliver every single Sunday. The margin for error has completely vanished. Every drop and every missed route will now be scrutinized under the lens of that massive contract, and the ghost of the player we traded away to make it happen. It is a new world in Indy, and the stakes have never been higher. This is more than just a trade and a signing. It is a total cultural shift for the Indianapolis Colts. We are officially closing the chapter on the old way of doing things and betting the entire farm on the explosive potential of Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones. It is a move that demands respect for its boldness, but also commands a level of fear because of the beloved player we lost in the process. Michael Pittman Jr. represented stability, while Alec Pierce represents the unknown heights we hope to reach. Whether you love the deal or hate the trade, one thing is certain: the Colts will never be the same after today. We have chosen our path and we have chosen our stars. Now, all that is left is to see if this gamble leads us back to a Super Bowl, or if we are going to look back at this as the day we let a true leader walk out the door for a dream that hasn't fully materialized yet. The future of this franchise is now tied to Alec Pierce's hands and Daniel Jones's vision. I want to hear from you guys in the comments right now. Do you think Alec Pierce is worth $114 million, or did we make a massive mistake by trading away Michael Pittman Jr.? Is this the right move to support Daniel Jones long-term? Let me know your honest thoughts because I am still trying to wrap my head around this one. Don't forget to subscribe for more breaking Colts updates as we navigate this wild offseason together. This is a journey we are all on together as fans, through the highs and the lows. Keep your eyes on the turf, because the new era of Colts football is officially here, and it is going to be a wild ride. See you in the next one.